We are live on Facebook. We are just getting ready, and we're live everywhere. Good morning, everyone. It is Tuesday. You know what that means with Two Sisters. It is Triumph Tuesday. What are you triumphing over? What, did you look at your last week? Did you look at your goals, your visions? Did you get some check marks? Even big win, little wins lead to big wins. But good morning, everyone. This is Carol, so AKA Naughty Boss, Lady Canada, live from a rainy area in Orlando with Two
Sisters, and good morning, everyone. My name is Janis, aka Wellness Diva 5.0. What is going on over there? Don't want to know.
I just put on lipstick. Hold on one second. Go ahead, keep talking.
So, Triumph Tuesday. What are we triumphing over today? There are so many things that really add up to a lot, right? Like you kind of get the ball rolling and you wake up with enthusiasm. And I love doing that because, as everybody knows, and I talk about it nonstop, I'm in the studio before 5 o'clock in the morning. And I love that. Now, that will not work for everybody. But for me, a big triumph would be always being more organized than I was the day before. Like put more thought and planning into my day so that I can go confidently into the next day, knowing, darn, hey, I got some shit done. And I don't know, that just makes me feel good. So I would have to say being more organized and planning out things almost ahead of time. So I'm that much more ahead of the schedule.
Well, that's pretty cool. Well, this morning I triumphed over apparently putting on my lipstick because putting on a new brand, it was very drippy and wet and it's like gloss. And obviously, as we were coming on air, I realized, like, ooh, I didn't double check this. And it was just too goopy looking. So, with a live podcast, what do? Do I sit there and fiddle with it, or do I run real quick and just blot it off a little bit? And that's exactly what I did. And what that shows you is, and I frequently will get this from a lot of our viewers and audience, that they notice that we kind of, when a divot or a pivot's happening, that we have to, or a pivot's happening, that we have to redirect, refocus on the fly. How do you so quickly adjust to that? You just do it as if it's just your real life, because this is our real life. So, what would happen if you were having a conversation and you're out to, breakfast with your friends and, you noticed, your makeup wasn't right, or your lipstick was kind of mangled like mine was. You just, you get something to wipe it. Although I did not have anything in my direct area here to do that. So I took a little, little pivot to the other room and blotted it off, and, and come right back. This is, when you're running a podcast, sometimes funny things occur. And it's so funny. I was saying this the other day. I wish we had a bloopers reel of, sometimes depending where I am, depending on what location I am in. Am I getting a good connection? Do I've got to revert to my cell phone? Because you can do obviously Zooms right from your cell phone. So, or, now you adjust your phone or whatever you've got it propped on, whether it's, a specific holder for a cell phone when you're doing these kinds of things, and it falls. What do? We've done podcasts with me getting my nails done. And then I start interviewing, people that are around me. So what it shows you, and what we hope that we are being authentically us, is that even though these things occur, they're real life things. We don't have a staff running around handing us things in a tissue, adjusting our audio, adjusting our lighting. We do that all on our own. And it showcases that you can do what you want to set out. If you want to impact people and help other people, you do whatever means it takes within what you have. And by doing that, that's part of the journey, I think. Don't you think, Jan?
Yes, and I had to mute myself because the bird is flipping out over something. I don't know. He's annoying the heck out of me. Oh my gosh. But anyways, yes, you're absolutely right. Sometimes the detours, although not expected, take us into a different direction and new things pop up, right? So kind of going back on yesterday, and all I'm going to, because I did want to bring this up, because I did say a few swear words when I was on my rant.
A few. Well, you know what, you said them, but the good thing was closed caption made them stars.
And I wish I saw that. That's kind of funny. But what I want to say about my rant of yesterday, and for those of you who have maybe not had a chance to listen to yesterday's podcast, excuse me, all I will say was I was not the only one who was ranting about Maxine Waters.
That is true.
I am actually in the midst of drafting a letter to my senator, and we'll, that's a way for me to show my voice, my concern. So whatever your voice or your concern is, and that's maybe another thing that I'm triumphing over, because normally I think, excuse me, if something bothers me that much, I need to take action. And I have no problem doing that because I want to stand up for I don't have grandchildren, but I have nieces and nephews, and I have grandnieces and nephews for their future. And I'm just going to close that aspect of it out, unless you want to add to that. I am just appalled at the Speaker of the House. I am appalled at Maxine Waters, and I'll just leave it at that.
Well, what I say to that is adding to what we chatted about yesterday, that we, the people, have a responsibility. We are the ones that are voting these people in. And just like we have seen factually that Coca-Cola kind of backtracked a little bit of what they were doing. They refused to sign the letter addressing the Georgia issues with what they felt were their own issues with how the state is going to be changing up and adding to, how you can, voter ID and all that kind of stuff. They backtracked because consumers spoke. You also had the judge in the George Floyd trial also address Maxine Waters. And I don't have the exact quote, so I'm not going to say what the exact quote is, but he addressed the issue. He made a comment about it, or a statement, I should say. He also instructed the jury because they're not sequestered. A lot of people did not understand that they are not sequestered. So they do get influenced by media. And we already, I think if you have a common sense brain, regardless where you feel on any particular issue, I think we can all strongly and factually state, and obviously now that there's evidence from Project Veritas that certain media sources had an agenda, and they admit it. They admit that they are all about the fear mongering, that fear mongering sells. They admit that they pander a certain narrative to kind of throw down the throats of the American people. So again, we the people have a choice, and we've spoken. As you well know, and it's factual, that one of the networks has really plummeted on their viewership. And that's because we, the speaker, spoke out and said, shut off. I'm not listening to you anymore. You're not credible. I want news that's credible, that is non-biased, that reports actual factual information. So again, we, the people, spoke. Well, that also applies to who we have elected into office. We, the people, need to speak louder. If you come from a state where you are not happy with your representation, because you're not only voting for your state, you're also voting for having someone represent your state, but also on a worldwide stage, a government stage that is a federal stage. And your vote from a local standpoint actually impacts other states, because now this person is part of the conglomerate, the big federal, whether Congress and or Senate, they're one of your representatives. So if I was from a particular state where I voted someone that is really impacting the rest of the United States in a very negative light, I wouldn't be embarrassed, because really that's a reflection of her, not only her as a representative of a state, but her character, her integrity, her humanness of just being kind or not. you really get a feel for her that she's not a very nice person. And I know that I want to have somebody that's not only going to represent my state in a good light, but that is also going to add value to all the rest of the people that are, Americans in the United States, because they're part of that whole process. So we, the people, do have the power. We've already seen it with the walls of corporations. We've seen it in viewership with news sources and social media. Well, guess what? We need to also pull that power together as a nation, as a people of we the people, and make different choices for who we want in office. So that's on us. We have some ownership in that. Even though obviously she represents it's California, I think she's from California, that Californians voted her in, her words are impacting the rest of the United States, in particular, that one particular state where the trial is happening. Think about that for a moment. And I think we, the people, have to really understand the impact and the value and the importance of our vote. And does it add value? Is it going to add value to our state and impact our state in a good way? But is it also going to do it on the national level? So these are things that we have to think about. And I think that's how I want to close that. We, the people, have power. We have more power when we're together as one. And in these particular instances, we, the people, can also, it doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on. If you all collectively think that we've got to elect people that are not only going to represent us in a good way, but also going to really shine the United States. Because for me, because she's on that national level, she's a thorn in Californian sides for sure, because they're very outspoken about that now. But also she's a reflection of the United States. And a lot of people don't look at it from that perspective. Hopefully now they will. They will see that this is a person they don't want representing the red, white, and blue. And I'm hoping that's the good that comes out of it. But moving on to Triumph Tuesday, that was one thing that you had to triumph over. There was a lot of people that were like on, the edge of their seat, listening to the trial, listening to obviously the narrative of what was going on with her. And after a while, like I could, I only tuned on for a short period of time. I was listening to the closing arguments. After a while, I could feel my insides getting and I knew that wasn't healthy. We don't want to be around to watch, to witness things that don't bring out either the best of you, that bring you joy. When I listened to both sides, their closing arguments, I thought one side was definitely more compelling than the other. But at the end of the day, it's the jury. It's the jury that has now been handed this task. And it's a serious task because you have to, and I think people forget how you come to that verdict beyond a reasonable doubt on either end, beyond a reasonable doubt. And that is one thing I thought the judge did an amazing job in really explaining. But when I listen to one side that I don't agree with, I could just feel it coming on. And I thought, this is not good for my mindset. It was Monday mindset, clicked it right off. And I thought I didn't let the story get the best of me in that way. We've heard so much. It's been so publicized already, not only from a media standpoint, but from a violent standpoint. And when you get into that, and those old feelings come up of, the destruction, the poor communities that were impacted. We were in the middle of the pandemic, and then you're dealing with that chaos that, certain groups were going around, destroying, burning, destruction. And it really leads you to a dark place. And I think, especially thinking at it now, I decided, no, it's not good for my mindset. And so today, I'm not going to let it impact me that way, because I want to triumph over those feelings, because they lead you to a darker place, don't you think?
Well, yes, they certainly do. And I have experience being on a jury. It was a criminal trial. And no matter what our personal perception of the individuals involved in this case, we really had to be on a reasonable doubt. It didn't matter what my personal feelings may or may have not been. It mattered on the testimonies and all the evidence brought forth. That's what they have to rule on. So and I think maybe it was the judge or maybe a news commentator, I don't remember because we were watching it as we were eating dinner, said how hard, it would be for the prospective jurors. And I really felt the gravity of that, because no matter how they feel personally, they have to put that aside. And just one further thing on that, when I was on that jury, after we read the verdict, we go back into our little jury room, everybody's cleared in the courtroom, and then the judge came in and he asked each of us, what was your number one, what was your personal feeling, and how did you base, because he was curious, he wanted to know. I don't know if every judge does that. And I said, of course I have personal feelings about it, but I'm going off of what the evidence is and the testimonies, and it didn't add up for me. So I had to make the decision.
Well, one thing I will say with this judge, which I was really impressed upon, because I've never heard a judge go into that much detail. I don't know that we always hear all that information. I always go back to the O.J. Simpson murder trial, because, that judge, I felt, did a disservice to the whole trial as a whole, and the procedural piece to it as well, where this particular judge was very clear. He gave those exact instructions that you're talking about personal beliefs. He told them they would not get a transcript, that their transcript was their notes, but do not let the notes, the notes were to be used for a reference, that your personal interpretation of your own notes and or other jurors' notes are just that, a personal inflection and or a personal belief of what that note could mean, and that to really go by the root of memory. He also did address the issue of your personal beliefs, that you have to not only put your own personal beliefs aside, but he basically was, and I'm not sure the correct words, and I'm not even sure that he used the word intimidation, but he said, don't be impeded or don't be intimidated, don't be, he didn't use the word coerce, but don't let even another juror's personal beliefs impede how you're going to fulfill your obligation. He was very descriptive, very insightful. So for that piece to it, I was really thankful that I got to witness that, because he really explained things to the letter of the law. And he also included the description of the law that pertained to that particular case. So in other words, they weren't going to get this big book of laws, or, does this law apply? They specifically put in their booklet, which laws apply and the interpretation or the meaning of that law, and how then they can digest how that would be applied to this particular case. So he did, kudos to that judge, did an amazing job on really giving clarity, I believe, to the jurors.
Not only that, but he was very clear and concise and very calm.
Yes.
Very
very
calm.
professional, very professional too.
Yes, very calm and professional in his delivery of the jury instructions. So Triumph Tuesday, what are we going to triumph over? Well, somebody needs to straighten up their desk a little bit, so I'll be working on that afterwards. And you are in a different location, so what are you going to be up to today?
Well, today I am in the Kissimmee area, and sadly, yesterday was rainy. Today is going to be rainy, but that's okay. We frequently talk about, when you have that bad weather day, how does that impede your day? Because it does affect your mood. We know that weather, air quality, all these different things, the atmosphere, really, the stars, the universe, everything like that really impedes and impacts your mood. And so a day like today, you have to triumph over that. You have to find other avenues to bring that sunshine, to turn a gray into a brightness. turn gray into, yellow sunshine. So you find different ways, creative ways. So other than, getting my work done this morning, we are going to look for alternative ways to have fun. This is kind of a little siesta for us. And that's what I love what I do, because I can still impact people, still do what I love to do, and still be with people that I love. And they all work well together. It's a balancing act for sure. But when you're committed to help others do the same, this is what you do. So yeah, we have to pivot a little bit today, but that's okay. If it really came down to, we are in a beautiful hotel that has a beautiful atrium. So there are some beautiful pieces to it. I always brought a deck of cards. You never know what a deck of cards can do for you when you're away and the weather is, inclement weather where you can't do what you want to do. So we're hoping that there might be some breaks, but at the same time, I also truly believe when it rains, like it is raining, and it's supposed to let up, I believe, late tonight. That's the world, that's the universe, that's God saying, you know what, we've got to replenish, because, what is that old saying? April showers bring May flowers. The Floridians have not had a lot of rain. So this is good for the soil. It's good for the flowers, good for, pollen, keeping pollen down, kind of just refreshing. Doesn't always look so pretty. Who knows? Maybe I'll go out and I'll dance in the rain, like a little kid. How many little kids love jumping in puddles? As an adult, yeah, we can still jump in puddles, bring out that inner child within us. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the day, whatever the day brings on. I'm looking forward to it. I do have some work that I have to get done as well. Some journaling that I was working on. So I'm excited about today. I always love to be in a different location, meeting new people, chatting what's going on in their lives. And, Johnny loves to chat to anybody. So we always meet people on our paths. So I think that's pretty cool.
That's awesome. Creating your own sunshine while in that beautiful resort. And I think I know which one it is. And it is absolutely beautiful. The indoor atrium. And I can remember having a cup of coffee sitting around, not that you're going to have coffee, of course, but
No.
just being, wow, that's pretty cool.
It also gives that creative, sometimes even within your own home, I always say, change it up. If your workspace, especially if you're working home, if your workspace is one thing, we call it our office, right? But it's always good to even change that up, different direction, different lighting, different workspace, because, when you are at the same spot, that's why a lot of people that are not entrepreneurs dread going to work. They dread going into that cubicle. They dread going into that same office day after day after day. Well, an entrepreneur has the ability to change that up, to change your surroundings, to give it a new, fresh look. So I often tell entrepreneurs, especially on a gloomy day, change it up, go into another room, do a little bit different lighting. It's good to see different colors that really impact your brain and your creativity piece to your brain. So that's what I'm suggesting to you. Change it up if it's gray there. I don't know, is it gray where you are?
No, it's absolutely sunny. We're going to get up to 70 degrees today. So this afternoon, I will be taking a nice walk outside. Obviously, I already got my workout in. So I am very excited about today. Tomorrow will be rain for us. So
Right.
all the more reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the more reason to get out and just breathe some fresh air. On that note, what are you, our viewers, our listeners, what are you going to triumph over today? What is something that you want to achieve for yourself? It can be as little as making your bed, maybe going through a cabinet, whatever it is. On that note, my name is Janis, aka Wellness Diva 5.0, and I am with
TwoSistas, and this is Carol Sue, aka Naughty Boss Lady Canada, live remotely from a place in Orlando that is beautiful, even though it looks a little gray. That's not going to bother me. I'm going to triumph over that and make sure that we still enjoy each day, because you're not promised tomorrow. What I would suggest to everyone, pay it forward. Be kind to other people. Be a good human. With that, we will see you tomorrow on Wellness Wednesday. Take care, everyone.
Quick funny. I just happened to notice the closed caption. They spelt my name wrong. Oh, well, Janis. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.